What is going on, champions? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the best dressed experience online. I am Sugar Roth 8. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm a variety streamer on Twitch. I served 6 years in the United States Army, deployed once to Afghanistan, once to Iraq, and now I have my own graphic design company and I stream full time, living the dream with you, beautiful champions. Welcome in to the Sugar in the Raw podcast. Here on the Sugar in the Raw podcast, the goal of the Sugar in the Raw podcast is to uplift, encourage, and educate and have an open and honest dialogue on various topics. Today, our topic is the importance of interpersonal communication. The importance of interpersonal communication. So, the best way to start, the best place to begin is what exactly are we talking about when we're talking about interpersonal communication? Now, you can define it in various ways and all that, but what we're specifically referring to is interpersonal time and contact. Interpersonal time and contact. Spending that close quality time with an individual or more on the small group of individual side of things. So without, I would say over the past, I would say generation, give or take, over the past generation, there's been an incredible increase of social media, right? Like it's all around us. We have Instagram, we got Facebook, we got Snapchat, and we have Twitch that we're on right now. We have all things, all sorts of things and platforms. And I believe that not that it has diminished communication overall. I think it's greatly raised that, in fact. But what it has done to a degree is I think it has skewed people's minds a little bit in terms of what is connecting, what is relationship building. Because it's right, the thing is, it's quick, it's efficient, you can do it from your house, you can do it, you can do it on the go, you could do it as you cook, you can you could be doing anything, right? And to me, that begs the question, truly, are you connecting, right? You might be communicating, so to speak, but are you actually connecting? Is that an interpersonal communication, right? And I would dare say not really. You might be talking to someone, and I'm not saying that your conversation or what you're sending is less valid. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it diminishes a little bit in terms of how close and how your communication helps you to grow together, right? Even when it comes to shorter communications, there's no replacing hey smiley face emoji with a hey how's it going and I see your face, your bright shining wonderful face, right? That's something that is, I believe, unfortunately becoming a little bit of a lost art in our society, and I definitely don't want to see it. So we're having this talk today because we want to point out a few things that can help us to stay focused and remember how important it is for us to connect. It's vital, champions. Us as human beings, we love relationships. We love to connect. I'm not saying we have to have a ton of them, but I'm saying it is inherent within us to come together, really and truly. Really said, now, champions, real quick, for those of you who see this on YouTube later, we stream this live. We are live every day. Now, it's not Sugar and Raw podcast. The podcast is every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But we do live stream on twitch.tv/SugarRoth8 every Monday through Friday, minus Wednesday, from 1 to 5 p.m. So If you're wondering where the chatting is coming from, that is where it is coming from, my friends. And like I say, it is live. This is not scripted. This is not preset. We're here to have an open and honest dialogue. So if you want to join in the conversation, we'd love to have you. Let's say, really say, I can't imagine what it must be like to be or what it must be like to be a combat vet. It's, honestly, really being a combat veteran. So as y'all say, I'm a disabled veteran. It's an invisible disease. I'm physically pretty okay. I'm got some things that are troubling me, like my feet, shins. Have cysts in my wrist, but it's neither here nor there. But it's okay on the whole. Honestly, as long as I think when you have good people around you, it's a lot easier to take on the challenge, even though it's tough. Ms. Collada said, in a way, it has diminished the quality and value of communication. 100% agree, because it's so easy. Right, exactly right. I really said just person to person is just more powerful than some likes. Right. Oh yeah, 100%. Absolutely. People to people, person to person, interpersonal communication, it just goes leaps and bounds above, right? Because you understand and you're able to react off of someone's action, right? When you see a smile, it brightens you up, right? It opens you up. You feel a lot better, right? When you get a smile emoji, right? You get a smile where you go, man, hey, I'm glad that but the thing is, they had to convey that through through that emote, right? Or that emoji, or how they were feeling. And your brain has to kind of picture the person, and if you know the person or if you've met the person, because sometimes you haven't really met, or sometimes you don't see them, because some people like not to put their physical personage online, so you've never seen some of these folks, or they might be a virtual streamer or something like that, or they just, you know what I mean. So that's but when you see them, right, and you know what they look like, right, even still, if I've met you but we text, I have to imagine what your smile is like, right? Like my brain kind of says, oh yes, I kind of see it, so to speak. But this right here, being able to look directly at someone and say, hey champion, how's it going? Hey, what's going on today? You doing all right today? Oh, you feeling a little down? You know what, man, that sucks, but I'm here for you. Let's talk. What can we do? How can we get through this situation? Let's see. So we see so much nonverbal cues that is lost in text. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. Now, and that right there actually brings me to my first point. So the first point is technology is a supplement, right? But it's not a replacement. That's what we've been harping on. That's the first point that we've been talking about. To sum up everything we've been saying is that technology is a supplement, but it's not a replacement. Don't mistake, or don't do hey, I text good morning to this person. Don't mistake that for a phone call where you can hear somebody, or a personal visit. All right? Because they don't equate the same. They really don't. You want to make sure, and this kind of ties into the second point, is that do the most interpersonal thing that you can, time permitting. All right? If you can't go and physically visit someone, then call them. If you can't call them, then text them. If you can't text, you see what I'm saying? Then use those other platforms to stay in contact with. But do not think that they equate the same. All right? They don't equate the same. Because the connection value is so much higher. It's so much higher. And you say, well, I understand what you're saying. I get these concepts, but why is it important? Here's why. The reason that it is important is because people will be able to connect memories to that quality time, right? Think back to when you were a child, okay? Or if you're a child now, think back to when your mother or father or somebody important in your life, whoever that person might be, person or persons might be, think to when they came and picked you up. Let's say you were at home and they said, hey, I'm going to come by and pick you up. Or mom and dad said, hey, it's just going to be you and I. We're going to go out today. We're going to go to a baseball game, or we're going to go to the park, or let's go eat this or get that to eat, right? You were able to have a shared connection and a shared interaction in the same space. And that is something you can go back to and you'll go, yo, remember when mom took us to this? Right? And it helps reinforce the fact that people care about you and that people love you because they were willing to spend time outside of themselves to come hang out with you. To actually sit down, have genuine connection and conversation. Have genuine connection and conversation. And that right there is irreplaceable. Irreplaceable, my friends. Thank you so much. Let me catch that alert. Like I said, y'all, we are live streaming. So you will see alerts, things of that nature.
Best dressed man on Twitch.
Well, Ridley, thank you so much for the $10 donation and financially supporting this channel and this podcast. I appreciate it. So, like I said, you got to make sure that you connect. Those shared interactions, those shared connections, those are things that you will remember for the absolute rest of your life. In most cases, obviously we do forget some things, but a lot of those smaller memories and times, those are what we remember. Those are what we remember, team. All right, Chambers, I got to put this on real quick. So, remember to, I hope I didn't interrupt the pod. No, you're fine. No, like I said, I left the notifications on purpose to let people know we are live streaming. This is happening. This is not scripted. This is not pre-planned. When you see it later, you'll know, hey, this is real, in real time. You never know. My wife might pop in. That's very possible. You might see my wife. Who knows? All right, but that's what we want. We want this to be live and in real time because me, just like you, I'm a real person just like you're a real person. And guess what? I have real life stuff just like you do with real life stuff. So, champions, if you ever look and you think it's easy or simple or, man, there's never any struggles to be had, oh, trust and believe. Trust me. There's things happening, and we all are going through stuff. That we gotta make it happen. And we can. And that's why we do this. That's why we have this space. We want you to be able to come, learn, grow together. Like I said, our goal is we want to encourage, educate, and uplift here on this podcast and have these conversations in a very open and safe way and fashion. All right? Now, so that being said about so what we talked about being social media being a supplement, not a replacement. And I'll give you a quick example, right? I'll give you one more quick example. There was a friend of mine, okay, who I knew very well. We hung out. I knew her children. Children love me, love their children, all that good stuff. It's great. It's beautiful. And one day I called to check up on her just to see how she was doing. And she said, "Oh, I'm recovering. I'm resting." And I was like, "Oh, what's going on? Is everything okay?" You know, thinking she's just like chilling from the day or whatever. And she was like, "No, I had surgery." I was like, "Wait a minute, what?" And I was like, "When did you have surgery?" And she replied and was like, "Oh, you didn't know I had surgery? You didn't see? I put it on Facebook." I was like, Facebook? I was like, girl, do you know I have over almost 2,000 acquaintances on Facebook? The chances of me seeing your story are very low. And here's the thing. I wasn't upset that she put it on Facebook or that she didn't call. That didn't bother me that she didn't tell me specifically. It was just, to me, the thing was, I thought about it, and in retrospect of what we're talking about, it's like, see, that's the disconnect right there. It was, the thought was that I could replace calling or interpersonally, you know, doing that. I could do the least interpersonal thing and put it out here, and then everybody will get it, right? No. Not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to see it. if I'll put it this way, champions, if you don't purpose it to happen, there's a very low probability that it actually happened. There's a very low probability that it actually happened. Also, yo, Indiana champion, what's happening? How are you doing, buddy? I hope you're having a great Foxy Friday. That is why I say it's a supplement, but not a replacement, because it's not that she put no notification out. She communicated, right? She communicated she was having surgery, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to see it. That doesn't replace you going, hey, I'm going into surgery. If you could, send some prayers up for me or whatnot, that'd be cool. Awesome. I got you. But that's not the same as, man, surgery's going to be tough tomorrow. I hope, y'all wish me the best or whatever. I'll let you know I'm okay afterwards. Send. Who saw that? You don't even know unless they react or something, right? Or type a comment in there. And not only that, but there are people who could see it, and because they're so busy doing anything else, they might not actually even respond. So you still don't know if they saw it or not. And even if they did see it, they still might not say anything. Again, not interpersonal. So you couldn't confirm nor deny when it comes to sending something out socially, right? However, you can confirm if they confirm it for you when it's socially. But when we're face to face, I know for sure you at least heard me. Whether you said something back or not, I know you heard me because we're in the same place. We're in the same area, right? And then we can have that dialogue about whatever the thing is. Now, let's see, people do this. It is frustrating sometimes. I agree. Hard agree. The thing is, it's really rough when it comes to content creation too, because some people be like, oh, I put it in Discord kind of thing, right? Unless you specifically told someone to check Discord or whatever. Again, unless you had some direct contact, don't think that it happened. It's a pretty low probability of it happening. Oh, I put it here. Okay, did you tell somebody specifically? Right? Then, I'm not going to bet the farm on that. And let's see, more so, if it's someone you see or talk to regularly, yes, I agree. Now that I wholeheartedly believe in, and that's what we're focusing on, is that interpersonal communication, those personal relationships. When you have those personal relationships and forge a relationship past that, it's just kind of like, oh, this is just a high, or I just kind of see this person at work, but we work in different departments, but I know them kind of thing. No, I'm talking about for your relationships that you have in your life. Interpersonal communication is key. It is paramount, because that's how we know what is going on with one another. That's how we get our points across. That's how we stay connected. It is the most vital thing you can do is communicate. Vital. Of the utmost importance, because all the other stuff comes through that. You see what I'm saying? Everything else that you do in those relationships comes through the communication that you two or whoever else it is have. So be sure to keep that up. And champions, like I said, if there's topics that you want discussed on the show, please let me know. I'm open to pretty much any topic. We want to talk about these things because, again, connection, right? That's what we want to do. All right, so let's pivot just a little bit and speak about something that a lot of people don't think about, okay, when it comes to interpersonal communication. Because I'm not, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not dismissing social media or digital technology as not communicating. I want to make that very clear. I am not saying that you are not communicating, and I'm not saying that it can't be interpersonal, okay? I'm just saying that the way that you conduct and how you operate when you're using that is what will help it become more interpersonal or less interpersonal. And you want to do the optimally interpersonal connection thing that you can do, all right? So even if it's digital, video chat with somebody versus just typing a volume of text, especially if you're talking about something serious. You know what I mean? Now, if they're not in the space and you're not in the space where you can do it, or you're not really up to it, that's okay. So I'm not saying that you have to every time. I'm just saying more often than not, the better play is to do that video. If you got to do it digitally, do it over video. Do it over, and if you can't do video, do voice. Typing should be the last resort if you can help it. You know what I mean? And I understand there's some quick things, and that's okay. You know, or if it's just like, you know, if it's like a Discord server where people are just going to be coming and going and all of that, that's totally fine. That's not what I'm saying. So I'm not focused on just, you know, high and by kind of stuff. No, I'm talking about when you're taking time and you really want to chat with somebody, or it's somebody that you see, they're in your circle and all that. Hey, take some time out and don't just go, hey, hope you had a good one, or whatever. You know, say, hey, how's it going? And when they give you that, most likely that fine, say, hey, champion, no, seriously, I'm asking, how are you doing? How are you really doing? I'm not just asking for you to tell me it's fine because you don't want me to worry, right? That's what most people do. Most people react with, I'm cool, I'm okay, I'm fine. When really they're like, I'm exhausted, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, I'm dealing with something, but I don't want to burden you. Champions, it's not a burden. We need connection. We need connection. That's why our motto is direction through connection. It's because we want to gain the place that we need to be or are going to be by communicating. Okay? We want to gain that by communicating. So, let's see. It's kind of hard in these times to keep in touch with people IRL. Yeah, I understand. I 100% understand that. You definitely want to be safe, for sure. But with the technology, like I said, the great thing about the technology is that it eliminates our excuse for connecting. There's legitimately no reason that you can't hop on Zoom unless you don't have internet or something, right? There's no reason you can't hop on Zoom, Discord, whatever other thing you want to use to connect. Facebook chat, Instagram voice chat, comms, whatever. There's no reason that you can't stay connected. That's one thing technology did a great job of. You can't get away with, oh well, you know, I don't have a phone, can't call you. Well, somebody got a computer. So you can connect. You can connect. All right. So if you can't keep up with somebody, that's okay. If you can't visit them physically, and yes, of course, with the pandemic, always be safe. You know, definitely always be safe. But there's a lot of people. There are people who, especially, you know, there's people who have the vaccines. I mean, if not, you can still do some socially distanced, safe activities. You know what I mean? Like I said, we have too many ways to connect with one another in order not to. I'm gonna say that one more time. There are too many ways that we can connect in order not to. All right. Now, so I got off on that just a little bit, but let me bring it back to where I was headed. Something that people don't think about when it comes to the communication and technology is that the same things that apply in person apply digitally. I hope that makes sense to you. The same things, so the same rules, the same manners, mannerisms, all of that apply to offline and in-person connection apply online. All right, let me break that down just a little bit. So let's say, for example, if you and I were sitting in front of each other face to face, and I'm looking at you, we're having a conversation, right? And I say, hey, champion, did you see that bird over there? That's a beautiful bird. And you sit silently, and you don't respond, and you say nothing. That's rude, right? That's disrespectful because I'm talking to you, we're in the same space, and you didn't say anything back to me. The same thing applies when it's digital technology. If somebody sends you a message and you don't respond, you don't say anything. Now, granted, I know it's a lot because we got so many people messaging one another and all of this stuff. I understand that. It's rude. When you do see it, you should respond. And especially if some time has elapsed, let them know why you didn't whatever. And the same thing that you do from person to person, right? Sometimes my wife will call me, right? And I have really good hearing. So my hearing's not the problem. So my wife might call me. My wife will say, hey, I was calling you. Because me not answering her when being talked to is rude, right? But when I hear her, or did hear her, or see her, and she said, hey, I was calling you, I will say, oh, my apologies. I didn't hear you. Or, oh, I was in the shower, so I didn't hear you at all. You see what I'm saying? You see, that's the difference. Now, if she goes, if she goes and I don't say anything as to whatever, or as to why not, then she's like, well, what? Well, that's mean. What's going on? Why aren't you at? You see what I'm saying? There's no situation I wouldn't answer my wife, but I'm just saying that applies online too. So if case in point, I got a message from a great friend of mine, love the champion to death, and the champion was like, oh, such and such, and then when I realized, I said, oh, I missed your message. I'm sorry I missed your message. My sister is in town, so I wasn't really on Discord at all. And I'm sorry, I'm not on Discord checking my messages super often. And let that person know, because, and the reason why it's important to do that is because that lets the person know that you care. That lets the person know that you care enough to respond. That lets the person know that you're not ignoring them. That lets them know that you're willing to take the time out and explain. Because let me tell you something, champions. When you don't explain yourself to people, and again, we're talking for your interpersonal communication. We're talking about your closer relationships, people that you interact with often. You want to let them know that you care. And it's okay to forget stuff. It's okay. We're humans. We're going to miss things. But when you do remember, or when you see that person and say, oh, you know what? You messaged me. And I'm sorry, I was in the middle of doing X, Y, and Z, and then I literally just forgot. Or whatever it was. Guess what? And this applies not only to accidents or mistakes, but it applies to if you're upset with someone as well. You be honest about that too. Remember, honest and open communication is what you want. And say, hey, I saw your message, but I'm upset with you. Or, hey, we got something that we need to correct first. And when I saw your message, I was not in the space to be able to talk to you right then and there. That's why I didn't respond to you. And then talk about whatever the thing is. You see what I'm saying? But talk. Do not leave the airways silent. Don't leave the airways silent. And again, like I said, the same stuff that applies. If I wave to you when you see me and you didn't smile or say hey or wave back or something, rude. Same thing online. Champions, if somebody waves to you, even if it's one of those preset messages where it's like wave to such and such, and they wave and you don't message them back or say anything whatsoever, rudeness. React back to them. Let them know. Acknowledge them. Acknowledge their presence. You want to be acknowledged? Acknowledge others. You reap what you sow. If you sow non-responsiveness into people, you're going to receive non-responsiveness from people as well. Because those are the conditions you create. And why would someone want to talk to someone that's not talking back to them? Who wants that? Nobody. Nobody's asking for that. See? Hey, Ridley. See how easy that is? Boom. Let's see. Miss Colada said, I'm bad about this, especially when at work. I see messages and intend to respond, but get distracted and busy and forget. You know what? Like I said, I understand that. And like you said earlier, it's okay to forget. But when you do see that person, you just say, you know what? I got busy and I forgot. I missed your message. My apologies. That's all. Own up and move forward. Like I've said many a time, it's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong. Whatever it is, fix it. See, hey, Mr. Colada, see how easy that is? You wave, I wave back, we communicate. Now, even if I'm streaming, right? If I miss something, sometimes it'll happen where somebody will say something, and and a few lines of text will go, and I'll be like, oh, you know what? Such and such said something up there. Hey, I'm not sure if you're still here, but I did see your message, and then X, Y, and Z. Sometimes you'll miss messages, and that's okay. But again, like I said, this is more like, what we're doing when in terms of streaming, right? You're in a room with a bunch of people, so it's a lot easier to miss messages, and that's okay. It's all right. But just let people know and communicate that. If you are someone who does frequently miss stuff, especially as a content creator, just let people know and say, hey, I'll do my best to respond to as many people as possible, but I might not catch everyone, and that's okay. See, at least people know what's going on, but when you can, just keep your word. That's what I'm saying. Keep your word, communicate effectively, and a lot of problems that come up between people will squash and solve themselves in many a case. Let me get a quick swig of this water here. Refreshes the whole soul. Okay. All right, now let me address something here. This is something that comes up quite a bit in just this realm in general, in the realm of content creation and our digital age. We're constantly meeting people. All right, we're meeting people, forging new relationships, so on and so forth. And one thing that we need to remember is that online relationships are real relationships. Okay? Online relationships are real relationships. Okay? Let me read your comment real quick. It really said, I'm kind of an introvert though. I find it hard to reach out to people except really good friends or family. And that's fine. The thing is, okay, so here's the thing about interpersonal communication. We're not saying that you need to go make a bunch of friends. We're not saying that you need to be an extrovert in order to communicate interpersonally. No, we're focused on the quality level of communication. So if your friends and your family are who you reach out to, continue to reach out to them. Just make sure when you do so, that you apply the things that we talked about. Be as interpersonal with them as you can, for whatever time allows. And even if it's through text, make the text meaningful, right? Don't just go, heart emoji, smiley face. Say, hey, I really hope everything's okay with you. I really hope everything's okay with you. I just want to reach out, see how you're doing. And when they respond with whatever, respond back to that and give them more than just a one word, hey, great, or nope, or whatever, you know what I mean? Actually talk to the person. So it's the quality level of how you are and how you grew up and your mannerisms and all of that stuff. You're not going to be a different you when communicating. It's just that you want to make sure you have a solid quality of communication. That's the key. What is the quality level of the communication that you're doing? That is how that interpersonal connection, that's how that interpersonal communication grows, flourishes, and blossoms. And that's what we're focused on here today. So I understand that. It's totally fine. So to the point, like I said, online relationships are real relationships, y'all. I can't stress enough. I've heard people say, my IRL friends or my online friends. I understand the distinction, but I think the distinction needs to come after. It should come after, because the thing is, they're both friends, right? They're both friends. And you don't want to make any connections that you made or someone that you brought into your fold as a friend, you don't want to alienate them or make them feel like, oh, I'm not a real friend kind of thing. No. So I think when you're referring to that, you can say, if you feel the need to separate it or whatever, or if you want to say it or whatever, that's fine. It's not about you making that distinction. It's just about, again, it's about how you execute that. So you can say, my friend that I met online. That lets them know I'm a friend first. Because guess what? That is a real person, right? That is a real person that you're speaking to or speaking with or that you play games with online or whatever it is. That's a real human being. You know, your IRL friends and all that. No. Just, hey. Now, I understand when you're doing live streaming that you make that distinction primarily from the stance of letting people know that this is not someone that's online, and that's okay. That's fine. Like I say, you can say, "Oh, this is my friend that I know IRL. This is my friend that I've grown up with." All right, and that lets people know. But don't do the yeah, that's my online friend. That's not some just like random, no. Hey, this is my buddy. And guess what? I'm just gonna say, like, if someone asks me about Mystical Auto, I'll be like, oh yeah, that's my friend, that's my dude. He's awesome. And just leave it at that. It doesn't really matter if it's IRL or whatever. Like, me personally, here's my rule of thumb. I only distinguish stuff when it's relevant to the topic at hand, right? So if we're talking about how do you know this person? Oh, this is my friend that I know from streaming. Okay, cool. Easy. Done. Yo, Tyler said, Ty here, Fanatic. Baby, what's poppin'? Ty the Reptile Fanatic, how's it going, buddy? Good to see you, champion. Hope you're doing great on this Foxy Friday, my friend. So I could have had to lean in so I could see who it was. And then it really said, I see what you're talking about. Spend more time on your response than the flipping. Yes, exactly. Exactly, Ridley. So continuing forward, like I said, just, the quality of those relationships depend on the quality of the communication. If the communication is poor, the relationship's poor. It's as simple as that. There's really no in between. That's not like you're either kind of doing this or you're doing this when it comes to relationships and communicating. And most of the time does this to relationships. So the longer you go, it's not that now. That doesn't mean that the relationship's gonna break per se or whatever. Like, that doesn't mean people are upset. But when time gets between, the quality of the relationship goes down. So you have to also purpose yourself for that communication. You have to purpose that communication because that's really and truly the way that we make it happen. It's not just gonna, you're not just gonna all of a sudden be best friends, right? I don't know a relationship today that they don't interact or that they don't communicate with one another and that somebody says, oh, that is my road dog right there. I don't know that relationship. I've never heard it, never seen it. Okay, I've never heard it, I've never seen it. And I'm gonna go out on a limb on this one. I'll be willing to die on this hill. I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say that it probably will never happen. It probably will never happen, okay? But you on purpose saying, hey, let's hang out, let's kick it, let's get together, let's talk about what is going on in your life. And you spending that time together and making sure that it's not just the standard response or that it's just the running response that you give to everybody kind of thing. Those are the things that separate and make interpersonal relationships stick. Also, because of how much sort of technology has made it convenient for us to get away from that, I think it's caused us I think it's crippled us a little bit as human beings, right? Where now the thing is, because it's the go-to now, and I think that's really sad. I think it's so unfortunate that even when it comes to business and stuff like that, I think it's so sad how people will reach out to someone and they never actually want to talk to the person. They want to do everything via the online. So I give you a quick example, like commission work, right? If someone's commissioning your work, you need to have a conversation with them. And there are free ways to do it that you don't have to give them your phone number. But you need to communicate with that person. Why would you try to complete a whole job, right? Complete a whole commission through email. And in most cases, they only get like a revision or two. You think I want to take a chance on 1 or 2 revisions or whatever it is, or if I have more revision, I got to pay extra. You think I want to have to explain that through type to you? You must be on that stuff. I'm not going to render money for a service and not get the thing that I was looking for. That makes 0 sense. So why? Unless you give somebody free reign. Now, when you give somebody free reign to create it, and you're just like, hey, I just want you to create this, whatever your vision for me doing that is cool. Okay, then it'll work that way, because you're already pretty much giving up that creative freedom, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But what I'm saying is that in general, across the board, when it comes to people's businesses and all of that stuff, that is just a very poor way to conduct yourself. That's a very poor way to conduct business. Really and truly. But again, I see it more and more. So many, even job applications and all of that. Part of it pandemic, but part of it is just they want to be automated, right? Nobody wants you to bring your resume in to them. They want you to fill it out online, right? Nobody wants to talk to you from customer service on the phone. They want you to go online and try to solve the problem. Some people are even with physical business. I have seen some physical businesses, okay, with no call number. It's a physical place with people working there, and there is no number for you to call to actually speak with someone from that organization. How sad is that? How sad is that? And not only that, think about everything else that they're cutting out by doing that. Man, I can let's say I look at some company, right? Whatever company, whatever emote artist, whatever. And like I said, there's too many ways to be able to connect. You can get Google numbers that mask your actual telephone number or whatever. There are options. Or even if it's like, hey, I only speak to people via appointment. Go here, make appointment, we talk, or whatever. Okay, whatever. I understand being safe and all that, but let's just say, for example, I look at somebody's work and I go, ooh, that's a banger right there. This person is doing great. I wanna commission them for $20,000 worth of stuff. Or, hey, I just want to tip them really well, or whatever. And then I go to look for a way to contact you, and all you got is your email. That most people, and I'm just being honest, that so many people don't check anyway. And now you've missed a $20,000 email because somebody couldn't just call you. Whereas you got that phone, right? That phone is with, most people have their phones with them virtually all the time, right? And even if you missed that call, you can see that message that I left. Hey, got 20 grand for you. Just give me a call back so we can work out the details. You'll make that call back. You feel me? You'll call that person back in a heartbeat. But following that idea for, even if it's not a commission or something, let's say it's a nonprofit. There's no way I'm going to just randomly donate, and it's just me now. Especially for a large quantity like that, I want to vet this place. If you don't have a phone number, that's very weird to me. A business without a phone number, or you just want me to, send an email to contactpersonwhatever.net? No, not in the slightest. Not at all. Ain't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Who's that doing there? Yo, TG, baby, what's poppin'? What's good, champion? I hope you're having a great Friday. So, like I said, y'all, this is why interpersonal communication is key. Interpersonal communication is so very vital in everything that we do. And the real thing about it is nothing replaces it. That's one thing. If you take nothing else away from today, remember, there is literally no replacement for interpersonal communication. The only way you can do it is by actually doing it. The only way you can interpersonally communicate is interpersonally communicate. A text won't do it. An emoji won't do it. Nope. That's very short, very succinct, it's very to the point, but it's not true communication. It's not bonding, building, growing communication. That's what's the word I'm looking for? It's a blip on the radar. That's just a blip on the radar. It's just heard from Suge 3 weeks ago. Heard from Suge last year sometime. You're not connecting. You might be communicating, but you're not connecting. And you're certainly not communicating interpersonally. Y'all gotta think. Use that beautiful brain. Give people more than just a shot in the dark. Give people more than just that blip on the radar type of communication. That stuff falls off. It doesn't grow, it doesn't last, it doesn't build. And if you want to be in a solid situation, if you want your relationships to grow, then this is a skill that you're going to need to purpose yourself to do and work on. And that's the thing. It does take work. You're going to be shy sometimes. You're going to be nervous sometimes. You're going to have some fear sometimes. It's okay. Learn to attack that veil. Learn to attack that veil. And guess what? More often than not, you are going to find a pathway to so much more and deeper and wonderful relationships when you connect with people. When you master how you do interpersonal communication, when you purpose yourself to make every time you communicate count, you're going to see some supernatural growth in your life, champions. Trust me. Trust me. Let me read that comment. I said, thank you, brother. You too. Thank you. Absolutely, champion. I'm doing fine. Doing wonderful. It's been a great day. It's been a wonderful day. So I really, really felt important for us to talk about this today. I wanted to admonish that. I wanted to encourage you to do that. All right. And speaking of connecting and being interpersonal, I'm on a few different Twitch teams. Two of which I'm going to uplift right now. And I'm going to place one here into the chat. And for you champions watching on YouTube, feel free to pause it. But I'll also place the invite on there. But Team Glitch Co. Okay, we're an open, inclusive group. All right, safe space, honest space, and we want to take care of one another. If you're having problems, if you're having any sort of struggles, if you need to be able to and want to connect with genuine, solid, wonderful people, please click on that Discord link. Join the server. Come say hello. There's literally somebody pretty much always there. We have a serious field zone. We have wins. We have inspiration. We have medias. All types of wonderful, great stuff there where you can share your art. You can share how. We want to grow that thing out. And we want to grow with you. And the people there really and truly care. It's not just man, I hope things get better. People will they'll share with you their own experiences. And we don't try to offer any. We don't offer any medical advice or anything like that. We might share experiences of things that may work for us medically, but we never. Like I said, it's a very judgment-free, very safe and honest space. Wonderful community. Can't praise them enough. Also, if you're also going through stuff, I want to uplift Team Heart Support, which I am also a member of. Feel free to check them out over at heartsupport.com. And there are loads of resources for people to connect to you and encourage you there. So check them out if you're going through anything. But again, like I said, it's just that, and that's the difference. Those two teams that I just spoke about, we have voice chats and we check on each other. We send each other personal DMs when we're not online and things of that. Specific, Travis, do you know how good and wonderful it feels when somebody singles out and sends you a message to say, hey, I hope everything's okay with you. I hope you're doing well. I'm here if you need me. That's short. That's very short. That's not a long message. That's like a line of text. But what was within it, that is interpersonal communication. That's a connection. That, and not only that, but the fact that they, like I said, that they singled you out. All right? It's one thing to go into a large room and say, hey, everybody, I hope everybody's good. Right? And it's a difference if that person walks across the room, sits down in front of you and says, hey, champion, how are you? It's good to see you. You doing all right? Oh, man, yeah, but had a great time. Oh, check this out. Let me tell you about this, what happened the other day. Oh, hey, man, I'm playing this really great game, and what you call it, man, I'm grinding TFT. We won our games today. It was pretty cool. That was popping off. That was what's up. Man, how's your games going or whatever? Right? Even, it doesn't matter. The subject matter, whatever the subject matter is what it is. That's fine. So we're not saying that what you talk about, whatever it is you talk about, just do it interpersonally. That's the key. That's the key. That is the key, my friends. So, as we come to a close, as we draw towards the end here, let me just encourage you to keep connecting. Keep connecting. Purpose yourself to connect. Do it on purpose, as if you meant for it to happen. And like I said, when you do that, watch out. You're going to experience a better quality of life than you thought possible. Because you're in a space that you're keeping your mind on caring about people, and people know you care about them. My dad gave me a great piece of advice once, and I'm going to share it with you about communication and connection. He was reading a book, and this book said, whenever you interact with someone, treat that person as if they were your grandmother. Now, what it means is, because this is serious, so we don't want any trolling, right? That doesn't mean treat your wife like your grandma. It's referring to the level of care and connection, right? You love your grandma, you want to take care of your grandma, you wouldn't do anything that would throw your grandma off, right? Keep those same principles and values with whoever it is you're talking to. Take care of them, talk to them, make that time meaningful, right? Because also it was also a nod to, like, your grandmother might not be around as long, right? So you want to make sure that when you do communicate in the time that you do have with one another, make sure that that time is really solid, right? Same thing with your friends and your family and your loved ones and all of that. Your animals, all that stuff. Whenever you interact, make that time the best possible time that you can have. Why not, right? What's the point of, nobody wants to have a bad time anyway. Do it. I was reading another book, and in the book it said that the book was saying to exactly what we just talked about. Make that time the best, right? Especially like on those known interactions, right? Those are some of the prime opportunities to take these are prime opportunities to practice interpersonal communication. So let's say you're going to a restaurant, right? Even if it's the drive-thru, Let's say you're going through the drive-thru, right? Now, you know, and that person, that other individual on the opposite side on the intercom knows that somebody's going to show up, right? So we know we have to interact in order to get what we want. I want to get food. You want to help me get the food so you can get paid for your job. Great. This is a purposed thing. It's going to happen. It has to happen. This is a necessary interaction. Why not make that the best quality interaction as possible? Why not make it as pleasant as humanly possible, even in that short time? Hey, I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Address that person by name. Champion, there's nothing better, in my opinion, as far as something easy that you can incorporate than addressing somebody by name. Address them by name. Now, most of the time, depending on how fast chat's flying, I'm going to say, oh, I really said X, Y, and Z, versus just reading the comment. Because, one, we like hearing our names because it's us. So that's great. And then two, it personalizes it. So you might not see their tag, or you might not see their name. Well, obviously, you're not going to see their name when you're ordering initially, but when you get up to that drive-thru, if you see that, oh, hey, Tanya, I hope you're having a fantastic day today. Tanya, I appreciate it. Is everything going okay today? Hey, when are you off? And then whenever they give it, man, hey, that's what's up. Not that long to go. Or hey, hope it goes by fast for you. Again, pleasant, peaceful, wonderful, interpersonal. Versus, thanks, appreciate you, grab the food and go. Great. Who wants that? Who wants that for 8 hours? Nobody. Okay? Nobody. Or even better, brighten somebody's day while they're at work. You don't even know how far that might go for someone. Man, it's been a rough day today. Hey, well, you know what, champion? I hope the rest of your shift goes smooth, and peace and blessings on whatever that situation is. And yeah, it might not bring them instantaneous joy, but they might go, you know what? Man, that was really nice. That was really sweet. Because most of the time, nobody expects that in the drive-thru. Champions, your level of interpersonal communication stems from you. I'll give you one more quick example and then we're going to wrap up. So I'll go through the drive-thru. Let's say I'm going Dunkin'. It's another drive-thru example, oddly enough. I went through the drive-thru and I said, hey man, I would like to pay for the car's food behind me. You know, I would like to pay for the order kindly. Didn't know them, didn't see them, they didn't see me, whatever. Not a big deal. I don't have to know them. I don't have to know you to love you. I just need to love people wherever they are. Wherever they are, as much as I can. That's just me. Okay? So I paid for the person's order, and I gave them, I had $10 in my wallet. And so I took the $10, I gave them the $10. I said, hey, could you kindly also give them this $10 and tell them that they're doing great. Tell them to have a great day. So I paid for the meal, gave them $10, and I drove. Now, there's an interpersonal communication and connection, right? I think that says a little more that I care about you than if I just turned around and waved. And even if I did that, that'd be fine too. But I'm just saying, imagine how great they must have felt to just be like, wait, what? Somebody I didn't know and have never met paid for my meal and gave me some money. That's neat. How often does that happen, right? And champions, what I'm saying is, do we all have to do that? No. What I'm saying is, we can make that not so uncommon. We can make those feelings happen by stepping up on our interpersonal communication game. And when we generally start to feel better, we do better. It's hard to do good stuff and you're not feeling great. Hard. That's why we say we don't have the spoons, right? Because we don't have that energy. But if we can uplift and brighten someone's day, hey, we put them in the best situation possible for success. And that's what we want for one another. So I really say, yeah, I like that advice. Think before you say anything. I appreciate it. It's a good advice from Mr. Lauder. What else do we have here? And let's say, wow, that is cool. Well, thank you, champion. Yeah, just trying. Mr. Lauder said, be mindful and present while communicating. Yes, champion. Exactly. You got it. TDC, that's a good perspective to have. Thank you, champion. I appreciate that. Yep. That's the goal, my friend. Okay. All right, let's do a quick recap of some of our talking points, and then we are headed out. We're going to wrap up this episode. All right, so remember, first and foremost, the digital technology and everything is a supplement but not a replacement. Okay? And when you use it interpersonally. Whenever you do it, still, take it in. Be mindful. Online, the same stuff that applies online as far as manners and responding and all of that, apply offline. When people message you, message them back. If they wave back. Whatever it is. Return the communication so you're not being rude. All right? Do the most interpersonal thing that you can first, and time permitting. If you can't go physically see someone, video them. If you can't video them, call them. If you can't call them, then you message them. And even when you message them, don't just send heart emoji, winky face thing. Send, hey, I love you. I was thinking about you. I wanted to see you. I wanted to check up on you. Along with that stuff, maximize that. Maximize the interpersonal communication. And then also, lastly, online relationships are real relationships. Okay, don't treat those, like I said, whatever, the same thing that applies online applies in person, applies online. So those are real relationships, and you should treat them as such. Talk to them. Whatever level of friendship you have, work on that friendship and be a friend. Okay? Be a friend. All right? All right, champions, that is going to do it for today's episode. Thank you so much for hanging out with us here on the Sugar and the Raw podcast, where we provide you direction through connection. Our goal is to continue to encourage, educate, and uplift, and have a safe and honest conversation on the topics. All right, my friends, as always, I love you, and I believe in you. Absolutely believe in you, champions. Until next time, y'all, take care.